We decided to hold an inquiry on this issue because the High Representative at the European Commission is undertaking a review of the EU's foreign and security policy. It's going to report in June, and we wanted to get our recommendations in first. And of course, when one talks about the EU in this context, one means the member states, and the member states working together or not, as the case may be, and the need for the member states to have some sort of overarching set of principles within which they can work effectively. Well, there are several recommendations. One is that we should certainly concentrate our efforts particularly on the neighbourhood, that is to say, the countries and the regions that border on the European Union. That's where the biggest threats come, whether a security threat, as in the case of Russia, or of course the migrants, as in the case of the Middle East and North Africa. Then within that we have some specific proposals. One is in relation to Turkey, and it's quite clear that Turkey now is a major player so far as the EU is concerned, but that the EU's policy towards Turkey is in a complete mess, and we say that we must try to establish some underlying principles to govern our relationship with Turkey. We also look very closely at Russia, and there we recommend that on the one hand the EU should maintain its strong stance as exemplified by sanctions, but that it should look beyond that to a more constructive and productive relationship with Russia and seek to bring Russia to the table in order to explore those possibilities. We are concerned very much with the Baltic states, and we believe that at the moment the Baltic states are rather exposed, and that more needs to be done to safeguard their position. Well, we believe that the effect of a UK exit would be quite serious because the member states work together as independent governments, but when they agree a policy, it is very often, almost always, executed through the instruments of the European Union, which are in the hands of the Commission. So I'm thinking in terms of trade agreements, for instance, aid and development assistance, and then, of course, sanctions. So if you look at what happened over Russia or Iran, the member states agreed their position, but they actually executed it through European Union instruments. That when we're dealing with developing countries, we are dealing with them as a group, and we can offer a much larger market and a much larger degree of help than would be the case if we were operating singly. So if we left the European Union, we would, I'm sure, still wish to cooperate with our partners within the European Union, but the execution of policy would become much more complicated.